Not stopping Appleton residents from taking to Houdini Plaza to protest a decision that turned the issue of abortion rights back to the states. Today marks 3 years since the United States Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. Local lawmakers joining organizers to speak on that decision as they fight to raise awareness of the need for abortion access and reproductive freedom.
We have mostly men passing this legislation who don't really consult with obstetricians, gynecologists on what could happen. Do they really even understand the full gamut of reasons why abortions are risky for women? The maternal mortality rate has increased since the Dobbs decision, since Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Roe versus Wade established a constitutional right to abortion and a fundamental right for privacy for women making that decision under the 14th Amendment.